Well, an Inyo County Sheriff's deputy suffered major injuries after a two-vehicle accident on Tuesday. According to a press release from the California Highway Patrol, on June 23rd at approximately 12:30 p.m., a 65-year-old man from Glendale, Arizona, Stephen Anderson, was traveling southbound on State Route 127, south of State Route 178, at a reported speed of 50 miles per hour. Inyo County Deputy Jay Seaton was traveling northbound on State Route 127, south of State Route 178, west at 55 miles an hour. Now, the press release states Anderson allowed the vehicle to cross double yellow lines into the northbound lane in a sweeping right turn. Anderson's 2014 GMC Terrain's left bumper collided with the front left bumper of Deputy Seaton's 2014 Ford Expedition. The press release states the GMC then started a locked wheel skid before rolling over at least once. The GMC came to rest on its roof approximately 15 feet east of the east roadway edge of State Route 127. The Ford started a locked wheel skid before rolling over at least once, came to rest on its roof approximately 6 feet east of the east roadway edge of State Route 127. Both parties and passenger were wearing a lap and shoulder restraint. Anderson suffered minor lacerations to his left arm and was transported by Southern Inyo Fire Protection to Desert View Hospital. Anderson's passenger, Dorothy Anderson, suffered minor chest pains from the airbag and was transported by Southern Inyo Fire Protection to Desert View Hospital. Now, Deputy Seaton suffered major injuries, according to the press release, consisting of a broken ankle, facial lacerations, shoulder lacerations, and was transported by Deputy Graff in his patrol vehicle to Desert View Hospital. Well, Deb Murphy filed this report for Sierra Wave Media. The Bishop City Council will be taking on the elusive, frustrating topic of downtown parking in search of what is admittedly impossible, a solution that makes everybody happy. Bishop City Administrator Jim Tatum suggested, and the Bishop City Council agreed at its Monday meeting, that a workshop to tackle that solution would be needed. Now, we need a fluid approach, Tatum said. A workshop would develop the groundwork to move forward. We need to send a message to existing and future businesses. Our intent is to be very business friendly, but some of our ordinances don't reflect that intent. Now, Tatum called parking the tip of the economic development iceberg. Now, the Warren Street project inadvertently brought the issue to the forefront, starting with Academy Street. Now, in January, 3 Academy Street businesses requested 1-hour parking in front of the laundromat to accommodate customers. Bishop Public Works Department requested comments on changing those spaces from 2 hours to 1 hour and 7 all-day spaces on the south side of the street to 2 hours. That posed the question of where employees or business owners would park, pitting, well, employees against shoppers. Now, Jim Tatum's workshop could result in a, quote, matrix that addresses parking as a whole. We won't be able to meet everybody's needs, Tatum said. It seems reasonable for employee parking to be farther than the front door of the place of employment and reserve that space for customers, end quote. Now, Bishop City Council member Karen Schwartz asked for a review of the thought process that went into the current parking restrictions prior to the workshop. That process, Jim Tatum said, has been lost to posterity. Having sat through other parking meetings as Bishop Police Chief, Bishop Council member Joe Pexy admitted that ordinances were put in place to, quote, meet specific needs. There's never been an overview, end quote. Now, as an example of meeting specific needs, the Bishop City Council responded to Alice Weber. She's the owner of the laundromat and dry cleaners on Academy Street, and she requested to designate those 3 spots in front of her business as 1-hour spots, or at least put up street signs back up now that street improvements have been completed. Now, Weber said that the workshop has been a great process, but it doesn't address the fact that there's no signage on Academy. Bishop Public Works Director Dave Graw explained that his department was waiting on possible changes to parking time limits. The Bishop City Council approved 3 1-hour spots with the understanding that things may change depending on the outcome of the parking workshop. The parking and directional signs will be going back up. Bishop City Council members suggested possible formats for the parking workshop, which will take place sometime in August. In other action, the Bishop City Council approved an ordinance that would streamline the permitting process for small residential rooftop solar systems. Well, we reported earlier that the Board of Directors for Mammoth Lakes Recreation has selected Rick Boccia to be the first executive director for the newly formed organization. Boccia will begin his official duties July 1st. Rick Boccia spoke with Sierra Wave Media's Rob Gill.
Rob, thanks for the opportunity. Born and raised in New York City. My dream job was always to play ball for the New York Yankees and become manager of the New York Yankees. Got into teaching school. Married to my wonderful wife, Diane, of 31 years. Two great girls, Mary and Kristen, are 26 and 28. Kristen's working in public education down in San Marino, and Mary's running a gymnastics program in Pasadena. Mammoth is just a piece of paradise where I think we're all blessed to be here on any given day. I love the great outdoors. Morning runs, snowboarding from day one, backcountry hikes, fly fishing, biking, just being outside. You know, there's something about Mammoth that connects people emotionally to the great outdoors. I would think at this point in time when people are realizing they need to go back to their roots, I think there's a tremendous amount of potential to really maximize what we have in Mammoth and how we engage a larger community in enhancing recreation, creating and enhancing economic development, which will increase the quality of life at the end of the day. Spent 3 years in Mammoth as the superintendent of schools. I was blessed to have that opportunity. Moved back down south, worked with the Palos Verdes Peninsula Unified School District, coaching a high school principal. This opportunity came along and it was too good to be true. Life can be humbling. You have a second chance to come back and finish some work you started some years ago. The Town Council of Mammoth Lakes created a public benefit non-government organization called Mammoth Lakes Recreation. It was chartered in June 1st of 2014 to focus on creating and enhancing recreational opportunities for our locals that live here in this great place of Mammoth, what I call paradise, and to create and enhance the visitors' experience here in town and the local communities. My first day on the job will be July 1st. I spent the last 2 weeks up here just engaging people in conversations, reconnecting, trying to get a better idea of what people are thinking about these days. You think about those first 90 days, it's all those new learnings, and that's what I'm engaged with right now. What do people think about where we are? What are the challenges? What are the celebrations? Trying to herd some grasshoppers, to tell you the truth, and it should be fun. Mammoth Lakes Recreation's been in existence for 1 year now. We've had a very hard-working board that really focus on startup ingredients of that equation. Filing the appropriate state paperwork, assembling a board of directors, creating bylaws, and hiring an executive director. My goal with these next 90 days is to learn as much as I can about Mammoth. I think I can accelerate a transition because I know the people in town. There are new people, but accelerate the transition by what I consider to be engaging in conversations and building relationships about what's new learnings. Part of that is to create a vision, working with the board to create a larger vision of who we are and where we're going. And then to lever partnerships, build those relationships so we can begin to build some legacy projects as identified by the priorities in this town. Mammoth Lakes is a recreation destination. Everybody wants to be connected to something much greater than themselves. You look at some of the big projects, our core strategies, snow and non-snow seasons, municipal recreation, trails, special events, arts and culture, high-altitude training. These are great opportunities to build a legacy for tomorrow that we can look back on and say, thank you for the opportunity. We're going to leverage the funding we have available through measures R and U. We're going to maximize the dollars. We're going to work with this community to build what they want to see in the terms of greatness that realizes the dreams that this great place of Mammoth has to offer the larger community that we live in. We're still growing as an organization. Our webpage is in creation, mammothlakesrecreation.org. Please stay tuned as we build that webpage over the next month or so as we beef up staff and I get a little more organized. But in the short term, if you need to talk to me today, you want to talk about a great project, let me know. Call the Travel and Tourism Office here in Mammoth, and they have a way to get a hold of me.
All right, thanks for that, Rich, and good luck. And the Mono County Health Department and Health Officer Dr. Richard Johnson have put out 3 press releases recently regarding the effects of wildfire smoke, as well as cautions about hantavirus and salmonella. Now, you can see sierrawave.net for the full press releases and good advice on these topics from the Mono County Health Department, and also a search will find the original story on Rick Boccia and Mammoth Lakes Recreation. We'll be back with more news.